I put my arm around him and I just said to him, hey man, I'm sorry. I failed you. This will get better. I will be better and I will make you better. Just don't give up on me. Don't give up on yourself. What if I would have handled that a little bit differently? What if I would have been selfish or egotistical and been like, you don't know what you're talking about? But instead, I just was like, hey, I'm gonna take ownership of this right now, and I'm gonna take responsibility and figure out what I can do to get better and focus less on what he needs to do to get better. I saw the positive impact that patience and love and care had in like a very tense moment.
Are there some particular moments that stood out in your high school coaching career as like especially?
Yeah. So I had one player who was a good player. He wasn't living up to his potential and he didn't earn the opportunity to start. And we played in a game. We won big. I didn't play him like I should have because it was a blowout. Like it could have put him in later in the game. And I had heard that he was in the locker room crying after the game. And I went to the locker room and there he was. He had his pads off and he had thrown a bunch of his gear and he was just in tears. And his dad had heard he was crying. So his dad came down as well. His dad, understandably was upset. His son was upset. And he was, basically yelling at me because I didn't play him. And he didn't understand, and he was, confused, and he was screaming, and he was just dealing with this whole gamut of emotions. And I let him because I knew he needed to. I let him yell at me, and I let him, in that moment, have his moment. And I put my arm around him, and I just said to him, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. I failed you, as a coach today, and I'm going to be better for you. And I want you to know that I'm giving you my word. I'm going to do that for you, And he and his dad and I shook hands and I was like, this will get better. I will be better and I will make you better. Just don't give up on me. Don't give up on yourself. And we'll make this right. And so that kid ended up stayed on the program. We worked through it. He became an amazing player, went to college, full scholarship, and texts me consistently, like all the time, just thanking me all the time because he's like, that experience changed my life. And so I think about these seminal moments, that's one example. And there are many of like, what if I would have done that differently? What if I would have handled that a little bit differently? What if I would have been selfish or egotistical and been like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're 16 years old and you're selfish and you're not playing hard and you're not practicing hard and you're hanging out with your girl. Cause these are all true. You were hanging out with your girlfriend too much. Your teachers are complaining about you and you haven't deserved to start. But instead, I just was like, hey, I'm gonna take ownership of this right now, and I'm gonna take responsibility and figure out what I can do to get better, and focus less on what he needs to do to get better, and maybe that will be the catalyst for him getting to where he needs to be, right? And I think a lot of times when someone's not, achieving their potential or living up to their potential, we want to put the focus on them, and it's like, well, what could I be doing? Like Jocko Willink is always like, hey, like extreme ownership, right? Like. I think about that as a parent. How can I be better all the time? How can I take complete ownership over this situation? And I think that was things that I did as a coach, but that was one moment of many that was certainly one that I think will continue to have like reverberations in who I am and how I treat people and how I deal with people, because I saw the positive impact that patience and love and care had in like a very tense moment.
Yeah, I got chills from that story about how you're able to just let go of your ego and really realize that it's not about us, right? It's like it's about that person,
right?
And I can only imagine in that situation, like, do you naturally just like handle that, or like when someone's screaming at you, like do those emotions start to flare up, and then do you have like like, is that like a smile sort of situation? Or maybe not a smile, maybe not smile, but how do you, because I see that too for myself, and I'm like, something comes up and I'm trying to let go of it because it really is about serving the person in front of us. And sometimes it might be challenging to do that. Do you have a technique for that?
Yes. And I think that it's just something that I have to work on all the time. And because I'm not immune to letting my emotions get the best of me, but I have to know that about myself, first and foremost. And then secondly, what I try to do is I try to first of all control my breathing, because breathing allows you, right, to have clarity of mind. A lot of times with elevated heart rate, you then get elevated breathing, and when you have elevated breathing, elevated heart rate, there's not a lot of clarity in thought, right? And then what it leads to is reacting and not responding, and those are two completely different things. And so any tense moment, I really do try to just take a deep breath and slow down that thought process, slow down what I'm thinking, be intentional about what I'm saying, and like and not even be quick to respond to what people are saying. If someone's saying something to me in a very aggressive way, I just take a minute to process it, and you'd be amazed at what a 2-second pause can do to remove tension from somebody. And so, yeah, I think that those are just like little cues that would work for anybody, not just, that's just not like a secret that I have, but slowing down in every moment.
Mm. Yeah. Just like taking in that breath creates that patient energy, that loving energy. And from there, we can really choose what we want.
Right.
Because if we're going fast, we're reactive. We're the thermometer. They're coming hot. We're coming hot.
Right.
But that breath,
yep,
allows us to stay right there.
Right.